You think that dies with us? That family name thing?
You know what? I think culture, as mad as it sounds, our culture is going to be watered down because we're here.
Yeah.
We're never going to be able to replicate how we were brought up.
Yeah.
Especially for me, my partner's Caribbean, so it's just not going to be the same. But the thing is, there is a little something in me that's like, oh, it would be nice to have a boy to.
Yeah.
But you know what? In my will, I'm gonna write my daughters needs to double barrel the name just to keep it going. Do you know what I'm saying? That's the only way.
Controversial, isn't that their choice?
Boy, it's their choice, but it's just a
And
suggestion.
the partner as well.
Yeah, you know what? To be fair, it is a bit harsh because I don't think I would have ever gone for double barrel.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been accepting of that because.
So if the missus said that she wanted double barrel,
Nah,
you're not on it.
you know what my friend once said? My dad and your dad, are they mates? That their name should be together. Nah.
To my beautiful girls, your smiles warm my heart. You turn bad days into good evenings. I promise to listen, to share, to guide, to provide, to protect, to love. All that is mine is yours. This is Stories by Emeka, the Fatherhood series.
So yes, Ade,
You saying?
what you saying?
Cool, bruv.
Long time.
I know. Just out here
Grey
living.
hairs? Is that
Bruv, wisdom. That's the
Wisdom,
wisdom coming
yeah?
through, bruv. Getting wise with age.
any golfing before?
Nah. Well, a bit of crazy golf, but yeah, this is like proper golf stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm ready.
We've got a leaderboard going here.
Okay, cool.
Lee 195. Got OB 112. So that's reasonable. That's your target.
You know what? I'm trying not to come last. That's my target for
So
today.
that's me here. I'm on 188. And right now I'm trying to beat my personal best. I'm trying to beat Lee as well. But yeah, we'll see how it goes.
All right.
But yeah, let me. The machine says that I'm up first.
You're first, yeah. Let's go. Come on.
So okay, every so often, just pan to the top, especially when when we're beating records.
Okay, cool. Let's go.
So today we're talking about fatherhood.
Okay, cool.
So just to start off on a light one,
Mm-hmm.
3 words that describe you as a father,
Oh,
and then
three
we're
words.
gonna break it down and see
Ooh.
why you've picked those 3 words.
I would say loving. That's the first thing. You got to love your kids. Disciplinarian.
Okay.
'Cause I'm trying to get that discipline.
Yeah.
I think as I've got older, I've understood the importance of discipline
Okay.
and what lack of discipline can lead to. Oh, what's the third word?
Shocking.
I don't know. I'll just be daddy. That's what my kids are. That's just who they see me as, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
just daddy. Like that's it. I know that's not really a describing term, but because my kids are so young, that's just I don't know. I'm just like daddy, innit? Superhero.
Superhero. Okay.
I can just it's
Bro. Swing and a miss. Okay. We've got one there.
You're catching it. You're
Out
catching
of
it.
bounds though.
So how far? Oh,
Okay.
89.
89.
Oh, is that 89 yards there?
Yeah.
Ah, fam, I ain't touching 195 today, boy. Wow.
But yeah, so you said loving.
Yeah.
So yeah, talk to me about that. So when you say loving, what kind of father are you on a day-to-day basis? Are you like always spending time with them? Like what makes you a loving father?
You know what? The reason I said loving first is because I think when you first have kids and when you have your first child, like everyone talks about like the love that you have for your kids is something that you hear, but like when I first had my first daughter, I was waiting for that. Like when she was born, I was waiting for the love to hit. I was like, when is it coming? When is it coming? But then it's like over time you start to build a bond and you start to see their character and stuff. You just actually start to just love them, innit? Like, and you start to understand that love. And I think it makes you understand your parents even more, how much they loved you, all the stuff that they used to say to you.
Yeah.
And like, it's love, yeah, but it's also this anxiousness of just like, I just can't even imagine anything happening to them.
Yeah.
I just can't even for me, as a father, I don't understand how you can have kids and not be involved.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Because if I go, I might be out all day, I might be at a gig or something. I'll leave in the morning and I come back and the kids are sleeping. Even that one day I'll miss them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? I'll miss just
Because throughout the day you're thinking
Yeah,
about
what
you
they
know,
doing.
what they doing,
Do you know
what
what I'm
have you
saying?
missed today.
What have I missed today? So stuff like that. So it's like that bond. That it's just love, innit? Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not the best person to articulate it, but it's just.
Yeah.
I think it's just important, innit? Like kids can be annoying, but it's the love that's always gonna. It's just gonna. Do you know what I'm saying? But now I think to myself, I can't even imagine what I put my mum through. Some of the behaviours that they used to be.
It's true what they say in terms of when you become a parent, you start to understand, you know, quite a lot of the things. It's like, can you imagine that? It's like, we'll get into this, but in terms of, you know, coming home late.
Oh, fam. Oh.
And then the thing is, I can't imagine like my daughter not having her phone. So back in those days, remember, not all of us had phones. So we were all being sent to school.
And
and if you come home late, it's like, what's the anxiety your parents
must be having? Oh, fam.
Like when I think about it, I'm like, this is actually wild. It's like if my daughter doesn't pick up the phone when she should be on her way back from school, I'm like
panicking.
You know, what's happening? But yeah, your shot. Let's see what you've got. But in terms of
don't film this bit, yeah. It's the practice bit, yeah.
So yeah, ages of your kids. How many kids you got?
So I've got 3.
Yeah.
My oldest is 4.5.
Yeah.
And then I got twins that are 2.5.
Okay.
So I'm relatively early in this parenting journey. But yeah, having a young family is.
All right. One for the camera. You actually hit it. What have we got? Let's see.
It's difficult to say the least. That's like 5 yards or some shit. 46. Fam, I'm gonna
That's a reasonable introduction.
I'm gonna come last by Tarated. You know, I need
So, you did things the conventional way.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So, so we've come a long way from sitting in college. Butte Court.
For those,
if you know, you know.
If you know, you know, boy. If you know.
Oh, uni days.
Oh, that's nice.
I think that's your best one so far.
That's one so far. That's nice.
Let's see what's that.
That's nice.
Look.
90. Oh, come on, bro.
You're getting there. You see, that's what I'm saying. Practice makes perfect.
I'm still halved.
But yeah, Butte Court. Different money-making schemes, buying, selling cars.
Oh, man, we've been on it from early. I forgot about the area, you know.
Oh my God.
Man, remember what was the car we bought?
It was a Fiat. There was a Fiat.
Is it Stilo?
Yeah, Fiat Stilo.
Oh, fuck.
But yeah, so many different things that we've been through. But in terms of your journey into sort of parenthood, you got married first. I think this is your 6th year.
Yeah. So 6 years
this year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, 6 years married, 3 kids. So how's that journey been for you in terms of, like, this is real adult life now. Like, we're far away from college days and uni days. Like, so how's that process been in terms of building your family and doing things the conventional way? Was that purposeful?
Yes. Like, you know what, maybe not so much more now, but when I was in my 20s, I always used to look at things in 5-year blocks. Okay. So I'm thinking, okay, what do I want to be in the next 5 years? I don't know where I got this from. Probably from some motivational speaker or something. But I just used to look at everything in 5-year blocks, and I just used to think to myself, what do I actually want to achieve? So my first thing was getting on the property ladder. I think I did that. It was like 26. Then I actually, in my head, I said to myself, I want to be married before I have kids. Yeah. Because I think just seeing other people's situations, you start to understand the importance of structure. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not parenting, like relationships and stuff are not easy. It's not an easy thing. So yeah, I always kind of knew in my head, like, I want to be married before I have my first child. Yeah. So, and then for me, like, you're a man, innit? You're in charge of your own destiny, innit? So you kind of pick the woman that you want. Yeah. You choose that you want to marry her. You marry her, then you make it happen. And that's basically what I did. I just
what qualities did you see in her, knowing that, okay, you want to start a family, you want to be a father yourself? What qualities did you see in your wife that said, you know, this will complement what kind of father that I will be when we start a family?
You know, it is, first and foremost, so my wife, caring, loving, and you know what, it's going to sound weird here, but like looking at her family structure, looking at the family that she came from. And it's funny because I never really thought about it until I saw it, until I could identify it. And just the family unit that she came from, and the way she was just bathed in love, the way her dad was just so proud of her and her brother, and like she just wasn't troublesome, just like a wholesome family unit. And I just said to myself, you know what? like I didn't necessarily come from that, but if I can recreate what she has there, then we're kind of halfway there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So I think it's I know it's cliche, but I don't know. You can tell a lot about someone by looking at the family that they grew up in.
Yeah.
It will help you understand them a lot more as well. So as I got to know her and her family, I started to understand her more. I just used to think, why does this girl like sometimes do?
Yeah.
Then I just used to see her mum and dad's dynamic and say, oh,
That makes sense.
that's where it comes from. And I think as well, it leads into the kind of parent that you want to be as well. So when you see that, it just makes you understand, okay, the type of family structure that you want to have is kids learn by what they see.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's just, I don't know. I've just kind of gone round in a circle, but just the whole family unit, how she is, calm, her demeanor, and she brought out the best in me. That's probably one of the key things.
Sounds like you hit the jackpot.
You know, the thing is, you know how we used to kind of be just a little bit, just a little bit rough around the edges. You know what I'm saying? Always street smarts, always about this P, but it's just, she just kind of showed me a different way of thinking, a different way of doing stuff. So it's kind of like, you know what?
Because that's beautiful, because what you've basically explained is like it's like the blueprint in terms of how I pick a life partner. Mm-hmm. It goes beyond the superficial,
but way beyond
days of just dating and, you know. But yeah, so that's good, because, you know, it's important to build a life partner, to understand, okay, this is the person that I'm going to sort of start a family with as well. What have you got there?
Did I register?
I did 82.
Oh, that's dead, man. I need to be hitting these hundreds. Is it still me?
You get there.
Practice makes perfect, but it's.
But to segue into sort of my next question, I was going to ask you in terms of like, what frameworks of fatherhood did you see? Obviously, your wife's family is one. So this could be fictional. So one of the ones that I've always said is, for instance, Michael Kyle from Wife and Kids.
I like that one.
Uncle Phil. So these you know, marquee sort of characters, but then at the same time, understanding some of the men in my family around. But for me, that was limited, because all I saw them as were just breadwinners.
Yeah.
So then this whole other side of fatherhood that, you know, you're starting to figure out yourself and starting to see from sort of other environments. So it's like, what was your framework? What did you see knowing that, okay, you know, one day I'm going to be a dad and this is the kind of dad that I want to be?
You know what? I could say I looked to my dad, but in a Western sense, like, obviously, man's like first generation, parents are immigrants, came here. So my dad was just almost like, it's like when I look back, I sort of got pictures of my dad, like, he reminds me of myself. Like, them times I can see he was a fly guy, the afro, the beard. He was just a man around town, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's weird, because I lived with my dad like during my teenage years, and you know, African men, they just don't say much.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Minimal.
It's
no
it's
emotions.
minimal.
You don't know. The only emotion we know they have is anger.
Exactly. So you grow up with kind of just one, like a very narrow idea of what it is to be a man. It's just about the money, and as you said, anger, and just like telling people what to do, dictatorship. And
authoritarian, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like, there's a part of me that, as I started to get older, I didn't want to be like that.
Yeah.
So I knew what I didn't want to be like.
Okay.
But I didn't 100% know what I wanted to be like. And I think you're right in terms of like the Uncle Phils, the Michael Kyles, just seeing that in media. But I'll bring it back to my missus's dad.
Yeah.
And I think him, so my now father-in-law, seeing how he is. And the thing is as well, even when I look back at pictures of him when he was young, he was the same as my dad, fly guy, man, about to have the afro, the beard, cool.
Yeah.
But he just grew into a man of God, and everything was about church, putting church first, and just seeing that, it was inspirational. I can't lie. Just
do you know what? I was at your wedding, and I remember his speech up until today, because I think he said some powerful things in terms of the relationship he had with your wife, and I always remember that, and I feel like, you know, this is very inspirational, and that's the kind of dad, you know, that sticks to mind. And that was just one event. That's the only time that I've met him, but it's like that speech kind of, you know, spoke to me as well.
And the thing is, it's just testament to the guy he is. And the thing is, maybe it's a generational thing, because Caribbeans are like a few generations ahead of us, so they're a little bit more westernized. But I don't know if fatherhood for the typical Caribbean family is different from us, because he's just a lot more involved in the day to day. It's not like I'll see my wife and her dad not argue, but like go back and forth, and I'm like, rah, like I wouldn't dare, like
because we were raised through control. How dare you be quiet?
But
you know?
but I've come to realize that that's the kind of father that I'm gonna have to grow to be. I'm gonna have to like not take back chat, but I'm gonna have to listen and understand. It's not just my way, because the reality of it is, as you get older, there's going to be a lot of learning that you can do through your kids. And I see that with my wife and I that all the time. She's there helping him with the online banking, this, that. Like, there's just certain things that are not in his nature, so he doesn't understand, but she does. And I think as we get older, it's just going to happen to us. Like, I've started to see things differently now that I'm a bit older. You just start to see the patterns, innit? Like, when you were younger, you used to understand certain things that the parents didn't get. It's just going to be us. See? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? But I think, I'm not going to lie, I would say my father-in-law was probably one of the main frameworks that I saw that I thought, you know what, like in real life, like, right, this actually works. Like this can actually run. 91 yards.
You know, there's levels to this. It's you again. Yeah, it's a new round.
Okay. You know what? Let me use this one there, because I think this is
anyone that you know,
this has got the secret sauce in it.
you're gonna miss more with that because it's a bit shorter.
Okay.
You know, you're a 6 foot plus guy, so
let me try this.
swing in a bit.
Okay. You know what? It's not about strength. It's about control.
Yeah, just control and just hit. Strike 2. Okay.
You know, leave me that one.
Go back to what you do. But yeah, so we've got something in common. You have 3 girls.
Yeah. Tell me about it, boy.
I've got 3 girls. So listen, literally, my youngest was literally just about a month old.
Congratulations.
Yes. You know, and there's always that burning question that comes into it in terms of when you've got more than 2, for instance, or the same thing, everybody automatically asks, do you want the other side? All right. So the question has been, are you going to try again for a boy, and so on and so forth. I know my answer. I want to see what your
how do I say this? How do I say this?
So 3 girls, 4.5, and the twins, 2.5. Are you going for the 4th?
No way. No way. You know what it is? I think our parents grew up in a different generation.
Yeah.
Where like you could survive on decent wage, 4 or 5 kids, but I think the cost of living is too high.
Yeah.
So now I think if I want to enjoy a certain quality of life,
Yeah.
I can't have too many children. It's gonna be.
Yeah.
It just becomes impractical. Do you know what I'm saying?
Your capability of actually doing the best you can for them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't want to spread myself too thin. I'd rather be able to give everything to the 3 that I've got than start 4. Because you know what it is? They say God's got a sense of humor. You say, you know what, I want the boy, I'm going to go for the 4th boy. Might end up with twin girls and go, then you got 5.
Do you know what? A lot of men that chase the boy.
Nah.
I know, like, I've seen people who end up with 5 girls.
Nah.
Still chasing it.
Nah.
But
I'm good.
So yeah, same with me. I'm happy with where I am now. But let's take it down to sort of cultural values. So sort of coming from a Igbo background, I want to see if it's the same for Yoruba. Was there that sense of we need a boy in the family for the family name? Did you guys have that as well?
Well, 100%. And that's why, like, my mum was still. I can say my mum's still. Mum's still hinting at it. She's still hinting at it. But you know what? Do
you think that dies with us? That family name thing.
You know what? I think culture, as mad as it sounds, our culture is going to be watered down because we're here. Yeah. We're never going to be able to replicate how we were brought up. Yeah. Especially for me, my partner's Caribbean, so it's just not going to be the same. But the thing is, there is a little something in me that's like, it would be nice to have a boy to. Yeah. But you know what? In my will, I'm gonna write my daughters need to double barrel the name just to keep it going. Do you know what I'm saying? That's the only way.
Controversial, isn't that their choice?
Boy, it's their choice, but it's just a suggestion.
And the partner as well.
Yeah, you know what? To be fair, it is a bit harsh because I don't think I would have ever gone for double barrel. Yeah. I wouldn't have been accepting of that. Cause
so if the missus said that she wanted double barrel,
you know what my friend once said? My dad and your dad, are they mates? That their name should be together? Nah. They're not mates, so do you know what I'm saying? It's,
You know.
yeah, I hear you. It's a bit controversial, but I ain't got no boys in it, so I need to do something. I ain't getting any better this time.
But okay, in an ideal world, would you, and money wasn't an issue, would you try again?
You know what? It's not even necessarily about money.
Okay.
So when I talk about like capabilities, finance is a part of it, because you know that nursery fees are no joke. I had three of them in nursery at one point, and it was so expensive.
Yeah.
Literally double the price of my mortgage. But I don't necessarily think it's about money. I just think it's about like just how much have you got to give.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And I don't know.
Yourself.
Yeah, of yourself. And I just don't know if. And I can't imagine starting again. Like, you know that you would have heard that fresh baby cry.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know if I can do it again. But no, I don't want to spread myself too thin. Do you know what I'm saying? And especially, I don't know. I just feel like even if I had all the money in the world, I don't know if. Yeah.
Because I think
have the
that you make a
capability.
valid point, because that's something that goes unspoken about in regards to, is there a certain amount of yourself that you can give to another human being in regards to spreading yourself thin, whether it's love, whether it's attention. All of these things are things that you can factor on. So if you already know yourself, and you know that free is, you can do the most you can for the free, then
you know
why not?
The thing is, life's just got a funny way of moving. So I might get to a certain stage where these three are older, and then I feel like they can help and assist, and I might have more to give. But I feel like because I'm at the stage now where they're all so young, I think throwing another one into the mix is just gonna
that makes sense, because
it'll be chaos.
Obviously, like the elder, she's going to be 12 this year. So sort of the dynamics of my parenting responsibilities have shifted once she enters secondary school. It's like I'm raising a 18-year-old.
A teenager. Oh gosh.
Anyway, you've got a lot to look forward to.
That's what I was gonna say. So, flipping it on you. How do you feel though, as a parent of a child that's now gonna be? And the thing is, secondary school, it was a long time ago for us, but it doesn't feel like it was that long ago.
Because you feel like you can, like the memories are
the
still
memories
there.
are
You
still
can still
there.
relate to everything that's happening.
Like, how do you,
to a sense?
Do you get a certain nervousness about sending her off into the big wide world of secondary school?
Yeah, so like we were saying earlier in regards to, it's like I couldn't imagine doing this without being able to contact her on a regular basis. You know, the phone is a big thing, but in terms of the change from, I guess, that primary school innocence of that sweet little girl, but now they're now exposed to so many other mindsets. So many other parents, children are here as well in terms of how they parented. So sort of core information. So for me, it's now more of, there's so much information out there. I want to be ahead of the information.
Yeah.
So I don't want you to learn about some key life things from the playground.
Yeah.
You know, so it's having that conversation and then deciding, okay, what kind of parent ultimately do I want to be moving forward in regards to what kind of relationship do I want with her. So it's definitely difficult because you're now dealing with somebody who can now express their emotions.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm looking forward to this bit.
through whichever means, you know, and you can't now be in control of their emotions. How they feel is how they feel. Like, I don't expect you to be happy if I say I'm taking your phone for a week. Do you know what I mean? But there's a reason to it, you know, and sometimes it's like she won't understand the reason, or she chooses not to understand that reason. But I feel like for me, it's kind of making sure that I stay communicating with her, so she understands my decision making, and trying not to rule how we were raised in regards to just that fear.
Yeah.
You know, the
thing is, it's difficult because when you asked me the question earlier about what, like, discipline, and for me, I'm big on discipline, but it's a fine line to tread between being a dictator and actually no, you need to actually learn how to just move in a disciplined manner, because it's going to serve you in the long run, just as a human being. Being disciplined is just, it's going to take you. I always say being disciplined will take you a lot further than being motivated. Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't know, parent. It's just a different.
So how does that work in your house in terms of the dynamics of discipline? Is that between you and your wife? Do you share that, or is that more on you naturally?
You know what? I think it's weird, but it changes daily. It changes daily. Sometimes it's like I feel like it's good cop and bad cop.
Yeah.
Depending on, so like, for example, if I go home and Mrs. been with them all day and they're messing about, it's
on you now.
It's on me now. Do you know what I'm saying? But you know what it is, to be fair, actually, if I'm answering honestly, it's probably going to be majority on me, because already that dynamic of don't let me call your dad, don't let me call your dad.
Does that hold weight?
Yeah, of course it does. But the thing is,
No,
I can hear them.
Definitely in our parents' generation, it holds weight. But for us,
Not
I feel
as
like
much.
some of the man them say it doesn't work because the accents is there, isn't it? Because they're not around as much for that to hold weight, if that makes sense. So it's like,
the thing is, I hear it, yeah, but it's weird because, like, so for example, the kids, I'll be downstairs, like maybe doing something, and then Mrs. trying to put them to bed. I can just hear bare chaos. Don't let me call your dad. If you're not going to sleep, I'm going to call your dad. Next thing you know, they can hear my feet coming up, and I do it on purpose. Doom, and then doom. But it's like they're laughing. So it's not as serious as it was. So when my mum said, don't let me call your dad, and then my dad came.
You got into a coma.
Bruv, that's what I'm saying. But that was fair.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was fair, but then, you're right, there's the absence of fear. So it's like, they just know that someone's coming to shake them even more, but they're not scared because they'll be laughing. They're laughing. So then I'm there, they're laughing. Go to sleep. They're like that. Then they're looking up. Stay here. So the dynamic's different, but I guess they understand that they can mess about a bit more for their mum. Do you know what I'm saying? They know that I'm less tolerant of them messing about. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think it holds weight, but no way near in the same fashion. Because if your mum, if you did something and your mum, if that phone started ringing to your dad, you're finished. You knew straight away that you're finished. Our kids are never going to have that for us because we're soft guys, isn't it? We're just not going to beat them.
It's like there's a different mindset in terms of that discipline, isn't it? We knew that a beating would come. Often choose your weapon.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Fam.
The belt, this, that. You know, so that's obviously going to invoke fear, isn't it?
But did it though? So that's it evokes fear, but it's like, I guess we maybe lost a little bit of respect.
Yeah.
So it's like we had fear, but no real, like, as I said, when I look at my father-in-law's relationship with my wife, I feel like there's a lot more respect there, but there's definitely no fear.
Yeah.
But they've got like a mutual respect.
But it's understanding how he got to that phase with her. Is that with physical discipline? Without
she always says that she got no. The thing is, it's difficult. I don't know, because it's biblical, innit? They say spare the rod, spoil the child, innit?
Yeah.
So obviously you can't beat kids nowadays, innit? That's it. But then it's like, what does that mean for the future? Does it mean that our kids just run around with no?
But does it have to mean
no
that?
Discipline?
Because does beating means that you've lost control? Because look, for me, it's like, for instance, I've been contemplating this for a long period of time. It's like there's a lot of displacement that used to happen with our parents. So they've had a bad day at work. We know what a bad day is. What do you mean you haven't hoovered?
Exactly.
Go get the belt. That's disproportionate to the crime. It doesn't even make sense. Do you know what I mean?
Man forgot to take the chicken out of the freezer.
You know what the chicken, there is no saving the chicken out of the freezer. You can't quickly go.
You can't defrost it. You had one job. You had one job and you failed. So you're getting licked. It's true though, it's disproportionate. It is disproportionate.
With the hoover, you can quickly action. You know what I mean? It's like everybody get the broom, you can quickly do something. But with the chicken out of the freezer, literally, like, there's nothing you can do. You have to take the L from that perspective. But for me, I feel like it's a lack of control, because it's that you now displacing. This is not the core of my anger, but I have more control here than I did at work.
Yeah.
I'm able to deal with whatever that was, or whoever might have messed with your money. Business deal didn't go well. But, do you know, because when you look at it, it's like you can come home sometimes. You've just had an argument at work, or like the money you was expecting from your business didn't come through.
And then you're
annoyed. And then it's like, you haven't washed the plate, and your wife is complaining they haven't washed it, and then you just lose it. So is it a lack of control that a lot of that beating then took place? And then do we now have to kind of reflect on that and seeing, okay, well, how can we do it different? At the same time, we don't want our children to not run rogue. Because at the same time, I've seen people who are beaten and they've ended up in prison. It's like, did all that beating work? Like, or did it just add more to the fuel to the fire?
You know what, I think you're right in a sense, because when you think about beating, it's like, you've done something wrong, yeah, so you're going to be punished physically, yeah, and then the environment we grew up in kind of reflects that as well, because it's like so for example, yeah, if you said to your mum, yeah, shut up, yeah, you're going to get a beating.
Yeah.
So it's like any disrespect, yeah, is met with violence. And then we kind of took that into the school playground, didn't it? If man tell you suck your mum,
Yeah.
it's met with violence, because that's the only way we actually understand to deal with disrespect. So I guess you're right, but then it's
But then that goes with the contradiction in terms of you'll get to a certain age, and then you're now told don't use violence.
exactly.
outside. But then I come home
and then I'm getting
I broke the plate by accident,
and it's violence.
your first response is a
It's
backhand.
violence. It's violence.
It's violence. So
It's true.
it's a massive contradiction. So it's like, how do we now deal with the conflict or whatever the issue is without that? In terms of we're trying to explain to our child this is wrong. I don't want you to do that. And yes, you might have to give up a level of, it's going to not even give up, but it's going to take a lot more self-discipline yourself because of how you've grown up. You know that. Why are you talking back?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
It's like
it doesn't make sense. What makes you think you can talk back to me? But
they don't understand. They just don't understand.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But that's what I'm saying. Discipline. So I guess for me, the way discipline kind of works in my house, for the oldest one, the twins are too young to even really discipline. But it's just removal of stuff. Like my daughter has these little toys that she's playing with. I say to her, okay, you don't want to go to sleep. Yeah. You see that little toy that you're playing with there? I'll take it and throw it in the bin. And then a few times it's actually got to the point where I've actually had to take it, pretend to throw it in the bin. Let her cry. Okay, you see, this is the consequences of what you're doing. Let me step back.
That T one, I can't hear it on the T for whatever reason. But then did that work? Did she understand?
You know what it is? It works because it creates, it works in the short term. I don't know how much of a long-term strategy it is. Basically, that's probably the easiest way of me putting it. It works in the short to medium term. Man's got 120. Fam, you know what? Let me try your thing actually. That's gonna be you again, actually, isn't it?
Could be. To be fair, I'm nowhere near what I've done.
What's it? 188.
Previously. Yeah. But
yeah, no, it works in the short term, but I don't know how much of a long-term strategy it is. But I'm not gonna lie. I just feel like I need to maybe find them like parenting courses or something, because sometimes man just feel lost with how to just deal with certain things. You know what I'm saying? There's no right or wrong way. You just
that's what I was going to ask. Do you have a support network? Maybe friends who also have parents? Do you bounce ideas? How do you deal with certain situations that come up? Because I feel like everyone's trying to figure it out themselves, whereas there's so many people who've gone through similar things, and we're not having those conversations together.
Yeah, you know, you're right, because I probably speak more to parents who've got kids of the same age. Yeah. But I feel like we're just all lost together. Do you know what I'm saying? Okay. Yeah, so I feel like we're all just trying to figure it out. It's difficult. Parenting's not, and I say it to my missus all the time, it's not supposed to be easy. Yeah. Nothing is supposed to be easy. No one promised us an easy life. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying?
Because at the end of the day, you're trying to get from 0 to, it's adulthood, and it's like almost you're creating a perfect being, but there's going to be rocky roads, and it's like what are you putting in place to try and limit some of those rocky periods that they come out of it well-rounded, well-loved, and all these things? Because it's like there's so many different things that are going to come up, and especially with this is what I wanted to sort of have the central conversation about in terms of raising girls in this modern society. So my question to you is, what are your sort of anxieties of raising daughters, knowing how you were as a young man? Let's go.
You know what? My main anxiety is that when you get to a certain age, when you get to like 16 to 20, you run into the version of me that I was 16 to 20. Yeah. That's probably one of my main anxieties. So it's like, I know it's a dumb fear, but it's just like, I don't know. No, you don't want your kids to like mess up their lives before they've even ever really had a chance to grow. And I think for guys, it's like getting involved in gang crime, going to jail, being killed. And for girls, it's like getting pregnant too early, getting a partner that is involved in that sort of. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's just staring them in the right direction. I think Chris Rock made a joke. He said, "You got one job as a father.
Keep them off the pole."
Yeah, keep them off the pole. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think it's dumb, but that's where a lot of the anxiety lies.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when you actually sit down and break it down, you should probably be more concerned with educating them, what they're going to do as a career, making sure that they're happy. These are the things that you these are the actual things that we should be worrying about. Yeah. But we're more concerned about, because what's the reality? The majority of women in the world are not strippers. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's going to be a very small proportion of people that fall into that life anyway. Yeah. So I think as I've grown into being a father, I think I've started to realise that it is about giving them the best opportunities. Yeah. Thinking about trying to get them, how can we get them to private school, when they're secondary, giving them the middle class opportunity that middle class people give their kids. Do you consider yourself middle class? Ish.
What's ish?
I'm probably middle class with working class
values. Yeah. That's how you were raised.
Yeah, because that's how I was raised. You know what I'm saying?
But then, would you really say that though, in terms of if you're trying to get them into private school? Because obviously this is you now trying to buy the best education for them, because you no longer believe in the public system.
The thing is, it's not that I don't believe in it, but as I've moved through life, I can just see there's value there. As much as sometimes as black people like to be ignorant and think, racism, this, that, and the other. There's opportunities there. The network that they're going to build there is going to be it's going to be different. And in life, we all know it's about your network, isn't it? Building that network from young, it's going to help them. And I've seen it even with my brother. My brother went to, so obviously we went Luton Uni. It was beautiful. It was gang business. Do you know what I'm saying? My brother went to Sussex, and
different vibe.
Different vibe. When I see all of the guys that he chills with, when I see the alumni, his network, it's different.
Strong.
Do you know what I'm saying? This one's an accountant. This one's this. And I'm not even saying that people that didn't make it, but I've seen that their path has been a lot easier. Do you know what I'm saying? These men are 26, 27, 75, 80, 90 racks. Do you know what I'm saying? Calm, cash. It's like they've just strolled into it, and it's like I just think we just need to be more aware of placing our kids in these positions. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, we had a bit of a struggle, so we don't want to replicate that. We don't need to replicate it. Do you know what I'm saying? We've got opportunities to kind of push them in a different path. So I think the immature me is keep her off the pole, but the mature me is more, okay,
the whole rounded
human being. Okay. And then I even worry about thinking about sending them to private school for secondary as well, because it's like, do I want not like a spoiled brat, but do I want that middle class? Do you know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm a little bit at conflict, because it's like, as I said, middle class with working class tendencies. Mm-hmm. You still want some of that working class values and smarts, but at the same time, bruv, you've got to create opportunities for your kids. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that's fair. So in regards to the age they are at now, what kind of nicknames do you call your daughters, for instance?
What kind of nicknames have we got? Most of the nicknames come from cartoons and stuff, to be fair. So my oldest daughter, she loves trolls, so she calls herself Poppy.
Oh yeah?
I don't know, we don't really do nicknames, I don't know.
So things like princess?
Well, they call themselves princesses, but...
Oh, do you
Nah, not really, nah.
No, the reason I'm asking is because obviously I tend to do a lot of reading around sort of raising girls, raise them, especially sort of black girls, to become black women, and obviously you want to be able to play a significant part in sort of that development for them. And so one of the things that I was saying is in this particular research was that when you use some of these words, for instance, like princess, it kind of subconsciously makes them feel and believe that they are sort of Disney princesses, which are often portrayed as sort of weak, that need saving by some man type of thing. And so subconsciously it's now, okay, when they get to a certain age, they still expect them to be treated.
It's damsel in distress.
But obviously because you've protected them, you've overprotected them, which is our job. But at the same time, it's like, would the energy be different if you were raising a son, for instance, in regards to the level of protection, or you exposing them more so they can be more aware of some certain situations? So it's like, what's the fine balance? Obviously, because we feel like, okay, maybe our daughters might be a bit more delicate, but are they? What's your mentality when it comes to things like that?
You know what's funny? like I was having a conversation with my missus the other day, and I was saying that like my oldest, I feel like we baby her too much.
Yeah.
And I've started to like, again, it's like you sometimes you get in like a YouTube hole. You watch certain things and then it takes you to the next thing. So I've become more conscious of not like over babying her.
Yeah.
Like certain times, like I remember this actually saying to my missus, like, it's a dumb saying, yeah, but you can't make an omelette without cracking eggs.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's all right for them to cry. It's all right for her to cry. It's fine.
Yeah.
Let her. She needs to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm saying? And the thing is, maybe because I'm a little bit rough around the edges, like I'm like hands on with them, innit? I play that, and it's funny because my twins are boisterous. They fight each other. They're quite rough already. So I feel like I'm not that like. I have been to a certain extent, but I've learned to let the reins go a bit. I'm not that super like, like, do you know what I'm saying? Delicate, because
Let me save you.
yeah,
Let me save you in
let
every
me save you
situation.
in every situation. Sometimes they'll be jumping off the sofa. I'll be bare conscious. Oh no, you don't want to hurt yourself. Then I say, you know what? I've told you. If you don't want to listen, then one day will fall out. Start crying. I say,
I told you. Yeah.
I told you.
Yeah.
So I think I'm getting to that stage now where I've learned to just kind of let what will be, but let them kind of learn because I've become conscious of it.
Yeah.
And I think so that's why sometimes all of these, like watching all of the stuff and taking in new information is good, because at first it's like,
Yeah.
do you know what I'm saying? Try
to be
protect them from everything. But in terms of like the princess thing, I never really thought about it like that.
Yeah.
But they like all of that stuff anyway. But maybe because it's just my personality, I don't encourage it. I don't really.
Yeah, it's fine because
I'm not really a fan of it.
there wasn't an objection to watching it, but it's more of okay, if you're now treating them like the princess on a regular basis,
personifying it,
then it's like the more you read, that you start to understand there's just so many different layers of things that could potentially affect them in the future. You know, because especially with the formative years between the age of 0 to 4, and then from 4 to 10, in terms of the amount of information that they are able to sort of soak in. So making sure that you get those periods right are important, you know?
No, definitely. The thing is, you're right. It's just a fine balance. There's so much to, do you know what I'm saying? You don't want to go too much this way or too much one way. You don't want to be too rough. You don't want to be too delicate. Like my oldest is sensitive.
Yeah.
She is. When I say the girl is sensitive. If you laugh at her, she will get upset.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? She's like that already. But then, I think sometimes everyone's just got different personalities, so you just got to kind of let them grow into their personality and just nurture what they're good at. But bruv, it's difficult. Raising girls is bruv, I don't know. It's just it's hard, bruv. It's hard.
You're still yet to beat 112.
I'm still yet to go.
Because right now you're at the bottom of this.
Fam, don't put my thing up there, fam.
Right now you're at the bottom of this.
Wait, is it better to stand closer or further away?
You need to figure it out.
Bruv,
So
you
no
know
one
what?
here is an expert. Listen, just for the record, for those people watching, because you know in the comment section, people are like, what are these guys?
Oh, you still? Oh, man,
No
bro, from
technique.
this over. Yeah.
No technique. We're all amateurs here, so you need to figure it out.
You know, I'm gonna go on YouTube and look. Fam. They're gonna say these hood brothers. Alright, 3. Don't worry, I got it.
See what you've got.
You know what? Let me just take one and throw it. You know, I don't think those last 2 registered, you know.
Yeah, if it doesn't go a certain distance, it doesn't.
I'm getting worse.
What about emotion?
In what sense?
Would you be the kind of father that could be emotional in front of your daughters to show that yes, men can be vulnerable too? Or do you fall in the vein of I have to be tough, I have to be the man in this situation, I have to be there to protect you? Because there's so many different people that fall in different sides, and I think by default we know what the answer is. A lot of men will want to take their emotions away, even from their wives. Some people don't even want to be vulnerable in front of their wives because I don't know if it feels like it makes them be less of a man. So where do you fall in when it comes to emotions and your daughters?
I'm not gonna lie, fam. I'm too much of an old school tough guy.
Firm
that beat. Hold that, fam. Hold it. But you know, bruv, The thing is, you know what it is? We do it to ourselves, innit? Because women will often understand that, like if you can, if you want to be vulnerable with your wife, and they'll often understand. But it's like sometimes you just don't even want to go there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so for me, yeah, bruv, you know what it is? I think, yeah, I'm just a suck it up type of guy.
Yeah.
Like, bruv, is everyone all right? Did someone die? If no one's dead, then fine. Do you know what I'm saying? We keep, and maybe it's just that old school Nigerian resilience. Maybe it's a bad thing. Maybe sometimes we need to stop and ask for help. But bruv, for me, I'm not gonna lie. I don't get too deep into that emotional bag. Maybe I should. Do you know what I'm saying? Maybe it could be the uncommon of me. But
do you see that there might be some benefits to showing emotions to your daughters? Especially when you think of them sort of growing up. Obviously, it feels like a long way away, but these years fly by. Like I blinked and she's turning 12.
You know what? Yeah. You know, it's maybe more so on the adult to teenage side, so they can understand that, like, men are not robots. Because often, like, talking about my wife and her dad's relationship, I can see that. Not he's that old school tough guy, but I can see that it's a similar thing where, like, you don't see men as emotional creatures. Yeah. I can see by the dynamic that they have that you don't understand that sometimes men see more emotions than anger. You don't understand that maybe a man can be upset sometimes or disappointed. Like, I think a lot of the time women don't understand that nuance. The only thing they see from us is, oh, I made him angry. That's the only thing that they understand. They don't understand that sometimes you might be disappointed at them. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? They don't understand that it's not just anger.
Yeah.
So I guess showing that could help them see that, but I don't know. I don't know.
Is that you're torn?
Yeah, I'm just torn. I'm torn because
you want to be the tough guy, but at the same time you're feeling like, you know, how could it affect her moving forward?
But you know, it is. I don't know. I just think as a black man, being vulnerable is just something we never. It's that you never want to open yourself up to that, just because of, I don't know. To be honest, I don't know what the reason is. But you never really want to. Do you know what I'm saying? Be on the back foot.
So would you want her to be open to, would you want your daughters to be open to you about things that they are going through, or by default, because you've got the traditional setup in terms of you're married. A lot of fathers, you know, relationships haven't worked, and so it's like that many people are in this co-parenting situation, whereas it's like you know, research says that, you know, the best dynamic for a child is mum and dad living together and having that sort of strong family unit. Because you're married, would you expect a lot of that to now be transferred to your wife, because they are girls? So this is what a woman's supposed to handle. I don't want to get involved. For instance, all right, we're meant, like, I'm at the stage where you know, the period is happening at any point in time. All right, and
oh, so that's how you've been getting it from this thing here.
Yeah, I told
you didn't bust me. You didn't bust me.
I told you. I said I can't hit off this.
Okay.
The 3 misses that I did was because I don't know who I thought I was.
The next one. The next one. Now I know the next one. Let's make it out. This is the next one now. Let's go. Okay, so you want me cheating this thing, yeah?
Let's see what you can do.
Oh,
maybe not.
Okay. Nah, still good. Fucking now it's even harder to hit. Oop. Fine, man. No, edit together, bear, man. Catching bear. Edit it together, make me look like a madman.
But yeah, so yeah, that last point that you was making. So what's your thoughts on it in regards to?
You know what? If I think about it, if I just vision what it's going to be like when they're like older and teenagers and stuff, I do feel like mum's going to have to bear the brunt of a lot of that. Yeah. And then like,
no. Do you want to be involved? Do you want them to come to you for certain things?
You know what? Yes.
Because your wife can never tell them what it's like to be a man.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, and obviously, if we had sons, it's like one of the things a lot of people say is like they want to teach their sons, you know, the sports stuff and teach them to be tough and you know, navigate around getting women and all of that type of things. But
do you want to have these uncomfortable? The thing is, it's uncomfortable.
What makes it uncomfortable though?
It's just,
is it this gender roles that we've decided to create for ourselves?
I think it is gender roles. I just think it's the thought of like your daughter be having a boyfriend, all of these awkward situations. It's like, I don't know, maybe it's just the old school African mentality, out of sight, out of mind. If I don't know it's happening, then I feel better about it, not knowing.
What if the bad is happening in your absence, whereas you could save that situation?
You could prevent it.
If you knew? Because
I guess.
what's that play here? Your ego, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
of not wanting to know.
It's uncomfortable. Are
you going to do a Mario Winans? I don't want to know.
It's just uncomfortability. Like, it's the same way in which, like, I would still, up to this day, have. My mum obviously clearly knows that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That man's got kids. Like, I'm not gonna like. My mum starts trying to talk to me about certain things, and be like, man,
how did these kids come here?
Exactly.
No one's talking about how the kids
man, get me? My mum knows that man is
probably still thinking of virgins.
But it's like that's the role that we played, isn't it? Like, we just don't talk about it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I guess
are we? We're in the spirit of changing
the dynamics.
Because we're not doing it how it used to be done, for a different outcome.
You know what then? No, I hear you. It's something that I guess when the time comes, I'm just gonna have to just suck it up, because it's weird there, because like people always, like girls especially, always talk about this weird age here where it's like 14 to 18. Your parents are like, no boys. Then you're 21 and say, where's your husband? Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, where did I have time? So we don't want to be
your degree, like, where's your husband?
Where's your husband? So it's like, we don't want to be those parents. So it's like, but then it's like, how young is too young? Because you're going to have a 16-year-old daughter, 18-year-old daughter, 20. You're always going to feel like they're too young.
Yeah.
You're always going to.
But you can't, for me, it's not a switch you can turn on. So for instance, you're talking about even, like, I'm at a different stage to you, like with having a 12-year-old. But before you know it, blink, your daughter will be 6 or 7. She'll have feelings, she'll be feeling a certain way about different things. It's like, do you not want to build up a track record of having her being able to come to you?
Because from young.
Then you build that up. And obviously when you now get to that sort of pre-teens, eventually becoming a teenager, then there's already a feeling of, I can go to dad as well as mum type of thing. But if you just say, you know what?
Mum, hold that, mum, deal with that.
Deal with that one.
You know, you're right, it's ego. I think it's ego. It's just not, yeah. And you know, I've never really looked at it like not starting from young, but starting it from earlier. So you
have to break down those, because that's one of the things I've had to kind of train myself into thinking, that especially my eldest child was from a previous relationship, so she now lives with me full time, and we're at a stage where there's a lot of transitional things happening for her. You know, all of a sudden becoming a big sister of 2.
Yeah.
Starting secondary school, obviously moving in with me full time, and having to go through puberty and the body changes and so on and so forth. So it's like, I can't freak out at seeing a bra or having a conversation about tampons. It's like, I've had to learn all of these things, and it's like, okay, I'm going to have these conversations because I can't. Because when you act awkward about it, then they're not coming to you.
They're gonna close down.
Close the door. Yeah, definitely can't speak to dad about it.
These are the combos we need to start having, because fam, I'm gonna be hitting you like, fam, listen, I don't know what to do. No, but you know, to be fair, I think it's good we're having this conversation, because these are things that I've never really thought about. Because you're right, you blink, they're just 12, and if you haven't built that relationship, then it's not gonna exist. So you have to kind of be intentional about building that relationship with them, so they are comfortable enough to actually come to you and start telling you stuff.
Because some people, is like, they say that, you know, I didn't have a good relationship with my dad growing up, and fast forward, sort of, they're now in their 30s, they have a better relationship, but their default when they're going through stuff is not to go and speak to the dad now, even though that they're a better place, but they're naturally going to their mother or whoever it is that they've confided in over the last sort of 30 plus years, you know? So it's understanding from that perspective how it works, you know? So food for thought.
Yeah, no, that's definitely something that's going to be a takeaway for me for this conversation. But you know, I guess it is just ego. It's just, and I think we just got to let go of that.
Yeah.
And try and be the best parents you want to be. But it's, I don't know. Yeah, but when it comes to all like the period stuff and all that type of stuff, that's definitely mum's duty. But I guess just life in general is always going to be.
Naturally, if the mum's there, obviously, like, she has experience with that, so that will happen. But in terms of if you have a role you can play within sort of those conversations and not freak out about it,
not be awkward about it.
Yeah, you know, and so knowing that, okay, this is happening, And you're outnumbered in the house anyway.
Yeah,
so
but it's all women. But you know what? With that said, how do you feel? Like, obviously, you're a little one's got a second. How do you think you're gonna feel when it comes to all boyfriends? How young is too young when they start saying, "Oh, boyfriend, this, 14"? Because when we were 14, 15, we were in a boyfriend girlfriend business.
Yeah.
But then you try to have the conversation and say you're too young for all of this.
Yeah.
But they're gonna go through it anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like
with or without you.
With or without you. So it's like,
which is what a lot of people did, especially when they went to uni, when they were in houses that were so restricted, and there was no communication, there was no conversation around anything, you know. Speak to a lot of girls, it's like, yeah, there was no sex talk. It's like we learned from each other, we learned from what we learned from school.
Do you that must have been longer than 8 years. Come on.
Let me quickly do these two so you can get another one before we wrap up.
Do you actually plan on having those conversations though? Like,
which ones?
The sex talk.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know what? Because I've got value that I can add to those conversations, and I don't want you to learn certain things from your friends who've experienced things. You know, and so I want to know stuff, so I can guide. At the same time. Because the default is, this is awkward. This is
even, you know? Even talking about it as parents is uncomfortable. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But for me, I've got to the stage where, especially how it is now, like there's, for instance, she's in secondary school. There's boys, there's friends, and I'm like, which boy is this?
Yeah, who's this?
What groups are you in? So looking at social media, making sure that. You know,
yeah, stuff like that. You check social media
because that's stuff that our parents didn't have to go through. Now there's another dynamic to parenting in terms of before you had to deal with bullies face to face. Now that can happen
online. Yeah.
You know, checking on their mental well-being to see that they're actually okay. So my daughter's come back from school. How's school? Good. All right. Whereas when she was in primary school, there's a whole load of stories. She's jumping on me, telling me this. It's now good. I have to probe now. What was good about it? What was bad about it? How are you getting on with maths? Which ones are you struggling with? Setting up a timetable.
You have to be proactively parent.
I set up a timetable and she said, "Daddy, why do I have to have a timetable?" And I'm like, and I just remember all the stuff my mum used to say when she said, "You people should have timetables." The everyday game. You know?
It's funny because do you find yourself just turning into
bro?
like,
sometimes
into your parents?
I'm looking at it, I'm thinking this is just reliving some of the things.
You know, they say there's nothing new under the sun.
Yeah, just reliving. It's like, why is a timetable important? Like, one, it provides you with structure. It provides me with structure as well, because I need to know what you're doing at this certain time, especially if I want you to advance on your knowledge. So officially the game has ended. We can still hit some balls, but you have not beaten OB or anyone. So you're basically, I think your best was 91 yards.
92.
Man,
try to rob me, you know.
Let's make this official.
No, 192.
Yeah, you wish. 92 yards.
No, you know what? This golf it's a lot harder than it looks.
Yeah, like you have to give it to them because this is it's a skill.
No, but yeah, structure's good, but yeah, it's just. Parenting is difficult, and as I said, it's just made me understand my parents so much more.
Yeah.
Certain things that my mum just used to say to me, it just rings true in my head.
Yeah.
I just remember being young, jumping up and down in the bed, breaking stuff, and just thinking, why is everyone so pressed?
Yeah.
Now my daughters are doing it. I'm thinking, this costs money, you know. This bed that you've just broken. Yeah. It's just two bills to replace. Do you know what I'm saying?
The money doesn't go on trees. You start dropping all these lines as well. But yeah, it's interesting, especially one thing I think we need to do is in terms of sort of create a network. We have networks for every other thing that we do in regards to sort of business, education, but like this is something that we can learn from each other, and having some of these frank conversations are important. So yeah.
But if you're setting up a Black Dads network, definitely, because
there's some that like, I don't like repeating what already exists. There's so many different. I think like there's one called Dope Black Dads. They have some great conversations. So yeah, it's just, you know, looking out for what already exists and, you know, potentially being part of that, or even just within your network yourself, and speaking to the network of dads that you have, and, you know, leading those conversations Right. Sometimes we don't need 100 different organizations doing the same things.
I heard that.
As long as the conversation's been had, that's the most important thing.
The thing is, it's funny because I've got a lot of parents around me, but I think you're the only person that's got only girls.
Mm-hmm.
I think everyone that I know is kind of
Mix and match.
mix and match, but everyone's got at least one girl.
I've clocked the game in my head. I know that I'm destined for 10 girls if I kept going. So I'm good.
You gotta stop somewhere, boy.
You know? But yeah, Bola, you have not surpassed anyone on our leaderboard challenge.
So I'm last, yeah.
Yeah, man. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me, man.
Having this conversation.
Always good to catch up, man.
Love, man. Yes. Yeah, definitely.
All right, last place, yeah.
You might not be at the end of this.
Don't worry, I'm a winner at heart. Oh, fam, the scores are getting worse and worse.
But no, that was cool, man.